Hey, and welcome back to my channel. So today we will be talking about a country that many of you actually don't know or never heard of. It is usually one of those countries that you won't find in the news, or usually is a very low profile country, to say so. So we will be talking about Moldova. It is a country in Eastern Europe that is sandwiched between Ukraine and Romania. It has Ukraine to the east and Romania to the west. And the country has some interesting features. It has some interesting characteristics that I want to point out. And we will be talking a little bit about the people of Moldova too, so a little bit about the demographics of the country. So an interesting thing is that as a size, Moldova usually would fit like in the small countries category. An interesting thing about the shape of Moldova is that as you can see, in the northern side, usually the country tends to be narrow, and as we progress to the south, the country progressively widens. So if we would try to fit Moldova into a shape, it would usually fit quite well in a triangle. An interesting thing is that the border with Romania is completely made by the Prot River. So it runs from here, so all of the way through here, and it charges in to the Danube. Another key feature of Moldova, usually Moldova is dominated by two big rivers. So you have like the Prot to the east, which makes the border with Romania, as I said earlier, and you have the Deissner, which is here. So actually it doesn't constitute an external border, rather an internal one. So between the side of Moldova, between the Prot and the Deissner, is like the country of Moldova, so like the united and undivisioned like territory of Moldova, and from the Deissner to the east, where like you can see a little further to the east, you will have the actual territorial border with Ukraine. So this one. You have like this strip of land which is named Transnistria, and Transnistria, unlike other places from Moldova, it is like a breakaway republic that isn't like recognized by any state. So practically the territory that is between the border with Ukraine, so the territorial internationally recognized border, and the Dniester constitutes the territory of Transnistria, and the story with Transnistria is quite complicated. Another two like interesting features are the following. You can see that Moldova has a little tip here, which almost reaches like this mass of water. This mass of water is the Deissner Lagoon. So practically it is a lagoon in which the Deissner discharges, and the lagoon has a very tiny like canal which connects it to the Black Sea, and you can see that practically Moldova almost like cuts away this whole part of Ukraine, which is like the southern part of the Odessa Oblast, from like the rest of Ukraine. So practically the lagoon almost cuts this side of Ukraine from the rest of the country's territory. And another feature is the very tiny opening to the Danube, which is through the port of Giurgiulești, which is here in the southern part. So you can see that it is extremely tiny, and usually people, when they are thinking of like countries that through which like the Danube flows, they usually don't list Moldova as also, because it's not very obvious from many maps that the country actually has like a tiny point from where like it makes contact with the Danube. Another interesting thing about Moldova's geography is like this border with Ukraine, which runs like through the southern part of the country. And an interesting thing is that usually when you are looking at borders and you want to make sense out of how why borders have a certain pattern, a certain shape, you need to take some things in consideration, like if there is any like river which like is a natural border between two territories, if there is like a certain like a terrain form which makes like a natural border, like mountains or hills or valleys and so on. Or you must also look at the historical context. Many times when like the shape of the border doesn't make sense when you take into account like physical features of the land. And the thing is that the southern border of Moldova with Ukraine, like the terrain is extremely flat, so practically there is no actual natural border between like the two sides, and the border runs kind of weird. It gets like through here, and it almost reaches like the Deisner Lagoon, but only through I think 2 kilometers. Ukraine just cuts a tiny piece from Moldova and connects this part of the territory with the rest of the country. This is mainly because of the historical context. In 1940, the USSR like annexed Moldova from Romania. And in the same year, Ukraine made some pressures on the USSR in order to get like the southern part of the territory of Moldova. So before that, this Moldova encompassed this region of Ukraine too. So the region that is between the Deisner Lagoon and like the Danube Delta. So this was also part of Moldova, but Ukraine wanted to enlarge its coastline and just cut out a big chunk of Moldova, and also like side of the historical territory of Moldova from the northeast. Going back to Transnistria. So Transnistria is practically a strip of land which is like a breakaway republic but is unrecognized by any state. Its capital is at Tiraspol, so here in the south. And it has like a very funny shape. In some parts it is extremely narrow, in some parts it's a little bit wider, and also like its border with Ukraine is also like made through certain political concessions, so it is not a natural border. Another interesting territory of Moldova is in the south, where there is like this place which is named Gagauzia or Gogeja, and it is inhabited by the Gogos people, which are like Turkic speaking Christian Orthodox, and they have like this territory. which is also very oddly shaped. So it is from here, and it also has two patches of land that are disconnected from the main district. So it is formed from three districts, but the main one where the capital Comrat is doesn't have like a continuity with the other two, which are more to the south. The capital of Moldova is Chisinau, or Chisinau in English, which is in the central part of the country. It is one of the few European countries which has the capital positioned very in the very center of the territory, which is very good from any perspective. Other like important cities of Moldova that we will name are Bolts, which is in the northern side, also Tiraspol, which is in Transnistria, Bender or Tighina. So Bender is in Russian and Tighina is in Romanian. So exactly very close to Tiraspol. Other few important places are Ungheni, which is like a border town on the border with Romania. And we can also mention Comrat and Cahul, so in the southern part of the country. Like Moldova, through the historical context and because it was also annexed by the Russian Empire in 1812, it is like a very bilingual like nation. The main language is Romanian, which is also called Moldovan. Many people try to say that it is a separate language, but it is identical with the Romanian spoken in neighboring Romania. And you'll also have Russian, Ukrainian, Bulgarian. So Bulgarians usually you will find them in the south in Taraklia Rayon, and Gogasian, which is extremely similar to Turkish. Yes, and as I said, the Gogos people are concentrated in the south, also like the Bulgarians are concentrated near Taraklia, also in the south, and Transnistria is mainly inhabited. So this strip of land that I said earlier is mainly inhabited by Ukrainians and Russians, which were colonized here by the USSR. So this was my take on Moldova. There are a lot of other things to be said about this country, but I wanted to give you some basic details about the borders, a little bit about the cities, the people. And if you want like another video about Moldova, please write me in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.